yet? Like, what type of chat are we building? What are you feeling?
I'm locked into these games.
We better win. If we win, Henry's going to go crazy.
I thought we were going to win.
Today, it's a different story.
It was funny though, like, I was looking out the outlet door, I think it's when I saw it. And they just throw it a lot.
This year, like, I feel like we got it. We should have.
I mean, second.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Ladies and gentlemen, please turn your attention to the field for today's coin toss. Today's official, referee Brad Harris, umpire Greg Jr. of Linesville,
All the girls called the train.
Linesville
I was getting mad because I was Henry.
Chris Whitworth, Side Guard, Chris Moore, and Back Guard, Rack Holder. Tonight's top two for the tip builders are number 0, Stuart Hopkins, number 4, Tate Jr., number 5, Logan Eastman, number 52, Nathan.
Yeah, someone's telling stories.
And representing the ninth, number 1, Jamara Robinson, number 16, Kevin Watson, number 22, Spike Adams, number 77,
He low-key gave me a concussion, but I got him black eyes, so, I think it evens out a little bit. Go Knights. You see I'm still supporting us? You know what I'm saying? Seeing you, Apprentice. It's a welcome. Yeah, bro.
Please welcome to the field, West Southern Virginia University Knights. We will begin with a word of prayer, which will be offered by Natalie Tate, a member of the Southern Virginia University Dance Team.
Hey, next week we got Staten, Physical, Swan Riverheads. Yeah, they fucking suck. What is he talking about?
Now, if you will all please rise, remove your caps and face the flag. Performing today's national anthem is May Knapp and Caroline Rasmussen.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Knight Stadium on the campus of Southern Virginia University in beautiful Buena Vista, Virginia. Tonight, the Knights of Southern Virginia welcome the Builders from the Apprentice School. We want to welcome everybody in that's joining us from across the country. We welcome all the Builders fans as well. It's a beautiful evening here, and there's a lot of anticipation here as we await kickoff of this 2025 season. This is a rematch from last year where the Builders defeated the Knights by a score of 44-9. In speaking with Coach DePay earlier today, he is excited for this new season. By the way, we want to wish him a happy birthday. He gave several keys to victory today, as well as talking about how he's excited about the experience that this Knights team comes into this season with. Last season, he mentioned the two-deep roster had 5 seniors, 5 juniors, and quite a few freshmen, 30 freshmen. And this year, we do have 5 seniors, 5 juniors, 21 sophomores, and 12 freshmen on that two-deep roster. So he's hoping that experience will pay off as the Knights hope to improve on last season's 1-9 record. We are moments away from kickoff. Number 5, Scott. And the kickoff is up and away. Being returned by the Knights. He's got an alley on the far side of the field, and he is brought down. It's number 86, Stevie Leo, with the return. He takes the kick out to the 39-yard line of the Knights, where they will start 1st and 10. Starting quarterback will be Devin Watson. Devin Watson is a junior out of West Jordan, Utah. A season ago, he passed for an even 1,600 yards with a 60% completion percentage from the shotgun. He looks, swing pass out in the flat, and he is brought down there by Sincere Hawkins. Penalty on the play will go against Sincere Hawkins. Face mask. That'll be 15 yards. Pass was out to Jarique Washington. It'll be 1st and 10 from the Builders, 42 for the Knights. Watson with the pass to the flat. Marcus Sollers, and he is brought down after a gain of 7. It'll be 2nd and 3 for the Knights from the 35-yard line of the Builders. Good start here for the Knights. Quickly into Builder territory. Sollers once again on Watson's left. Watson from the shotgun. Watson with the fake. He goes around the left side. Gets a block. And Watson into the end zone for a touchdown. So the Knights go 61 yards in 3 plays. Put up the first score of the season. Check that. Referees are saying he stepped out of bounds at the 15-yard line. Watson, snap was a little high. He's going to waste that. throws it into the ground at the feet of Sollers. It'll be 2nd down and 10. Antoine Mills checks into the game. He'll be in the backfield. Washington into motion. Watson. Pass behind the line of scrimmage. Defended well. Pass to Antoine Mills. 3rd and 13 now for the Knights. Mills into motion. Watson to Mills. Mills dodges 3 tackles, and he's brought down at the 7-yard line. It'll be 4th and 2 for the Knights. Knights quickly into formation. Watson with a touchdown pass to Henry Audette. So there we go, 61 yards for the Knights. And they cap it off with a touchdown pass to Henry Audette. Passing on the field to attempt the extra point. Snap, hold is good. And the extra point is good. So the Knights, here with 12 minutes and 13 seconds left in the first quarter, march down the field and go ahead by a score of 7-0. Now in the broadcast booth by Mark Duffin. He'll be handling some commentary today for us. Mark, a great start here to the game for the SVU Knights.
Oh yeah, I mean, you look at the crowd and you can tell there is some excitement in the air, and that drive really showed why. Devin Watson coming onto the scene as a backup last year, coming in and performing really well with his minutes and games last year, showing there why he took the starting role in the middle of last year and now is leading this team to some good offense. What I love to see on that drive is that they handled adversity to this team. There was some wobbly snaps, some miscues, some loss of yards, but everyone was on the same page, working together, and ultimately led to touchdown on 4th down, which is huge for this Knights team.
Yeah, they got behind the sticks there after they moved the ball, got behind the sticks. 3rd and 13. Had a good play where they got it down to 4th and 2, and then the 4th and 2 play with a nice little short pass out to Audette that took it into the end zone. So a great start for the Knight offense. Like you said, Devin Watson off to a good start. And now it'll be the Builders' turn, Mark, as they are back to receive the kickoff after the touchdown. Scott DePay to kick it away. And a flag goes down.
And this is one of the areas that, as you watch the season progress for the Knights, this is one of the areas you definitely want to see improve. It's just the special teams discipline. It was a bit of a struggle last year, but with the Knights, if they can get that down and give themselves better field position and put their opponents in worse field position more consistently and avoid penalties like that and so on and so forth as the season progresses, combined with that great offense that we saw on the first drive, this could be a really good season as the Knights progress.
Yeah, Coach Tepe, he mentioned this earlier today that penalties is something he wanted to avoid, especially something like that, offsides on the kickoff. You know, that's something you should be able to take care of pretty easily. The kick is away. That is taken at the 15. And a good tackle there by number 44, Cade Hansen.
And that was just pure effort and hustle. Didn't quite have the angle, but just putting out the effort, stretching out the body to just get a hand. And sometimes a hand is all you need when you have someone running full speed. Great play there from Hansen.
The return there was by Baker Green, freshman for the Builders. And now the Builders will take over from their 28-yard line. Pass across the middle, and it's on the ground. Referees are saying it's a turnover right now. So they're saying that it was a catch and a fumble. That'll be Knight ball at the 44-yard line of the Builders.
That right there was just an incredible tackle with the right positioning, the right angle, and everything, forcing out the ball. That's one of the Knights' defense. One of their skills that they had last year was being able to force those turnovers, get interceptions, force fumbles, do little chaotic things like that got them off the field and got the offense back on.
So this start couldn't have gone any better for the Knights so far. 3 minutes in, they have a touchdown and have recovered a fumble. Watson back to pass. He's got a man. DJ Perry was open down the field, but a good defensive play there by the Builders to break up that pass.
And you got to love the Knights' willingness to go deep in this game. Watson there had the protection, offensive line holding very strong that possession, that play, and Watson willing to air it out. Bit of a safe throw, a little overhead, but you'd like to see more than that. And if that connects, it makes it a whole new game.
Watson once again back to pass. Actually, it was a carry by Marcus Sollers. Pick up at 3 yards. It'll be 3rd and 7 now for the Knights.
And you gotta love the commitment to the run. Like, that's one of Coach Dupay's keys to the victory, is rushing for 100 yards. Something the Knights didn't do very often last year, but you gotta like the commitment, especially with Marcus Sollers, one of your returning players.
And Watson is sacked on that play, sacked by Wilberto Sanchez, a senior for the Builders. Wilberto Sanchez had 28 tackles last season for the Builders. Be 4th and 13. Knights line up, and it looks like there's a flag on the play. Referees will come together.
It'll be interesting to see. The most obvious movement was on the defense, but the offense might have moved first.
So they are going to get Sanchez for jumping early. That'll give the Knights 5 yards. So 4th down and 8 yards to go for the Knights. Knights are in the shotgun. And it's going to be a pooch punt by Watson. Takes a bounce, angled, and that is going to be go out of bounds at the 1 yard line. So a great punt by Watson is going to pin the Builders back at the 1 yard line.
And right there, head coach Dupay making some really ballsy calls there to get that the opposite of a fake punt, where you think you're going for it on 4th down, instead punt it away. And again, like you said, brilliant punt there from Watson. The Knights really putting out every trick to get the opening victory here at home.
Yeah, I was wondering if he was going to take a couple steps back. Wasn't sure they were going to snap it on 4th and 8. And sure enough, Watson took a couple steps back. So Travaris Jones in the shotgun in his own end zone. Hands it off. And that is number 32, Alvin Hicks. Able to break a couple tackles and get the first down for the Builders.
And just some unfortunate moments there for tackling, but a great play there from Hicks, forcing his way through, not getting stuck in the end zone.
Jones once again in the shotgun. Looking to pass. Has a receiver and incomplete. Pass intended for Bryce Davis, the tight end. 2nd and 10 now coming up for the Builders. The Builders, and listening to Coach Vince Brown, returned several offensive players from last year. Ty Taylor, the running back. And that handoff goes to number 23, and that is a gain of 6.
And this right here, Colby, is the most important part for the Knights defense. A little porous last year on 3rd down, but a lot of room for growth this season. These are where the games are made and broke on defense, is 3rd down.
Absolutely. Again, this was one of the focus for Coach Dupay, was to win the 3rd down. And right there, the Knights are going to bring the ball carrier down about 3 yards shy of the first down marker. It'll be 4th down, 4th and 2. And the Builders out to punt. Logan Eastman is the punter, number 5. And the punt is going to go out of bounds in Builder territory. Referees are going to say the 40-yard line. So it'll be 1st and 10 for the Knights. This will be their 3rd possession of the quarter mark.
Yeah, the special teams and defense combined have just played excellently so far to give the Knights offense the chances early in this one. I mean, no start behind the Knights' own 40-yard line. So great field position all 3 possessions. We'll see if the Knights can capitalize on this 3rd one.
Swing pass to Sollers. Goes through his hands. It'll be incomplete. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Knights.
I mean, if you think about the special teams that have happened so far in this game for the Knights, you have a return of 20+ yards to get them near the midfield. Then you have an excellent punt from Devin Watson, and then a blocked punt or a tipped punt to get him back on Builder's side of the field. So just excellent play so far.
Quick toss to Washington. He's looking to turn the edge, and he's going to go out of bounds after a gain of 3, maybe 4 yards. Looks like the referees are going to spot that for a gain of 3. It'll be third and 7. Maxey back to pass, avoids one rusher to a wide open Jarique Washington along the sideline. That's going to be a first down.
That's a great play there from Watson. Watson has really done well under pressure in this game. When things have gone wrong, not exactly 100% right, he has still figured it out and made it work.
Watson looking again for Washington, just led him a little too far.
Yeah, it looks like there might have been a miscommunication there on the route. Watson expecting more of a slant. Washington ready to set his feet and catch that ball.
Yeah, that's a good catch. I saw that as well, Mark. Looked like Washington was just turned maybe a step too late. So second down, 10 yards. Knights have 3 receivers. Option. And Antoine Mills gets hit hard after a gain of about 4 yards.
That was an excellent tackler there from the Builders defense. I especially love Antoine Mills just getting up, getting ready, helping his team get set for the next play right away from that brutal hit. Just overall, this Knights offense feeling very on the same page and ready to go.
Matt Watson got some room. A little dump pass there to Sollers, and he's met immediately. And it's going to be 4th and 1 for the Knights at the 20-yard line. Henry Audette onto the field. Of course, he caught the touchdown on the first drive. On a 4th and 2 play, we'll see what the Knights call here, Mark. And the Knights let the play clock run down and call timeout. So they're going to go ahead and huddle together, and we'll see, Mark, what Coach DePay wants to do here.
Yeah, I mean, a field goal is not out of the question at this range at all. But the Knights wanting to keep their offense on the field as long as possible. Definitely a change in adaptation from last year. One of the problems with the defense was that they were just on the field for so long, got tired, started allowing big plays. So right there, Coach DePay trying to use every tool to keep his offense on the field, even using one of his timeouts to try and get a offsides call. Some savvy football here from head coach DePay.
Yeah, so far we've had a pretty good 9.5 minutes of football played here by the Knights. You mentioned time of possession, where last season the defense was on the field for a long time. So far in this first quarter, we've seen a lot of the Knight offense on the field.
Yeah, hardly any of the Knights defense, which has been a credit to the Knights defense and the Knights offense both.
So Watson back on the field. In the shotgun, Sollers behind him. Audette goes into motion. Hand off to Sollers, and he is met. And it looks like he's going to be brought down shy of the first down, and the Builders will take over on downs. So an interesting call there, choosing to go for it as opposed to the field goal. But, you know, Mark, as many people might be able to hear through the headset, the wind is blowing pretty good here. And last year, the Knights, they didn't connect on one field goal beyond 30 yards.
Yeah, so definitely not the worst call in the world, especially because you leave the Builders at the 21, 22-yard line, right? It's not out of the world, great field position. So definitely not the worst call in the world. Obviously, you'd want to connect on a 4th and 1 run.
But credit to the Builders defense on that. They stepped up, made a play, and got the ball back for their offense.
Absolutely. With the Knights' emphasis on the run, the Builders have done well to limit that and not let any big gains go through.
Jones wide open to Isaiah Townsend, and Isaiah Townsend takes the ball out to the 36-yard line of the Builders. It'll be 1st and 10 for the Builders.
And you start to see both head coaches, they're starting to utilize those screen passes a lot more, getting those dink and dump guys open and ready to go. Both teams getting big gains from those short passes out into the edge.
A lot to be said for getting the ball out to your athletes and let them make a play. Hand off to the Builders there. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Builders. No gain on the play. Jones. And that pass is going to fall incomplete. Looking there for TK Petty. He was a leading receiver a year ago for the Builders.
Yeah, Petty, and a very effective player. He had 726 yards on just 34 receptions for a whopping 21.35 yards per reception. So he's a very effective player when he gets the ball. In 11 games, Builders didn't get him the ball that much, but when it happened, my goodness, was it electric.
Definitely a focus of the defense for the Knights, wanting to keep TK Petty under wraps here today. Jones looking to pass. He's being chased, and he's stripped of the ball. Jones falls onto the ball, and there is a flag on the play. Number 45 for the Knights, Tanner Evans, was the one that was making chase. And they're going to get a hold there on the Builders. Ty Taylor gets caught holding. Knights will take the result of the play, which will put the Builders in a 4th and 21. And once again, Logan Eastman will come onto the field to punt the ball away to the Knights.
All right there, the Knights getting pressure on the Builders, getting through that offensive line. That's something that didn't happen quite often enough last year. But as the Knights, you'll love the improvement. You love to see that the defense is making plays, doing the little things, and putting their opponents in bad situations.
Now, great to see the Knight defense there going in there and taking control of that possession. Timeout on the field. Southern Virginia takes their 2nd timeout of the half. So they'll have one remaining here. Jalen Lackey, he's been going back to do the returning on these punts. Eastman gets it away. Angled toward the sideline. Lackey lets it bounce. It'll go out of bounds at the 34-yard line of the Knights. So Knights will take over there, 1st and 10. Looks like we have a penalty flag on the ground on the far side.
I think that'll be offsides on the Knights, so it'll be interesting to see what the Builders do here, if they try and redo the punt to push the Knights maybe even 5 yards back more, or if they just let it stand, because they do have the Knights in the worst field position they've had all night.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see what Coach Brown decides to do. And we mentioned the wind, so it'll be a matter of whether he wants to take the 5 yards and try again. Here's the call from the referee.
Offside. Return to number 28. That penalty is applied. First down.
So Coach Brown decides that that outcome was about as good as he could hope for, and he's going to go ahead and decline the penalty.
Yeah, that's definitely a savvy move, because if you redo the punt, yes, you could pin the Knights back further, but you risk another tipped punt. You risk a good return. You risk the wind doing crazy things.
Absolutely.
Taking the field position at the 34 is a good call from Coach Brown.
So the Knights will take over. 3 minutes, 42 seconds left here in this first quarter. Flag flies. Once again, looking at either offsides or movement along the offensive front. So this one's going to go against the Knights. That'll move them back 5 yards, and they'll start this possession mark with a 1st and 15.
Yeah, and that one's a rough one. Clearly their Knight offensive lineman just trying to shuffle along, trying to get into a spot, but moved too suddenly. Defense reacted. Can't have that.
And Watson going deep. Jarique Washington, the intended receiver. Ball falls incomplete, just a little bit out in front. The 2nd and 15 now for the Knights. Watson fakes the handoff, throws across the middle, and that pass is dropped there. That is Scott DePay. You know, he had a little bit of room to run there too, Mark.
Yeah, and those are the types of things that on offense you have to clean up. But luckily we're getting those things in the first game, can get them ironed out. But those are plays you'd want to have back if you're Scott DePay.
For sure, Scott would like to have that one back for sure. And there, the Knights on a pass out to Sollers. And once again, that is Sincere Hawkins. Brings Sollers down at the line of scrimmage. It will be 4th and 15. And on comes the punting team for the Knights.
And that's the second time you've mentioned Hawkins' name tonight. Sincere Hawkins, one of the returners for this Builders defense, played very well last year and is clearly making his impact all over the field tonight.
Alex Passy back to kick. Gets away a good punt, and that will be fair caught by the Builders at the 33-yard line. Baker Green back doing the returning duties for the Builders. Flag on the play.
Yeah, it looked like that one was an illegal block in the back. You had Ty Smith there for the Knights end up on the ground.
Here comes the call. So the Builders had an extra player on the field. So that penalty will be declined by the Knights. Not enough to give them a first down, so the Knights will decline the penalty and take the punt. It was a good punt by Massey, or Passy rather.
Yeah, that's an interesting call. That flag seemed to come out towards the end of the play, and usually you don't see that at the end of the play. So interesting call. The Knights will take it. We'll take the good punt. But we'll get to see this Knights defense and see if they can keep up the high-intensity pace that they've been playing with.
The Builders will take over from their 33-yard line. Jones with the give. That's Alvin Hicks with the carry. Pickup of, we'll call it 3 yards. 2nd and 7 for the Builders. So Mark, the Knight defense, with a couple of plays being the exception, have been able to hold their own against this run.
Absolutely. I mean, last year you look at the Knights' run defense, and they allowed 226 rushing yards per game. So the little gains of 3 and 4 here in this game have been very, very improving from last year.
Jones looks to run himself, and he's going to be brought down there by Jamar Robinson, and also Kavika Bringhurst helps out on that tackle. That was a gain of 2 by Jones, brings the Builders to a 3rd and 5 here with a 1.5 minutes left in this first quarter. So Mark, another opportunity for the Knight defense to win a 3rd down and get the ball back. Jones flings it out into the flat. It's going to be caught there. That's TK Petty. Looks like they're going to be just about a yard short.
All right there, great play from Jones and Petty, getting that completion. But the Knights defense, the pressure they're putting on Jones, too much there. And the Knights with another 4th down opportunity on defense.
So 4th and 1, Builders look like they're going to go for it. And it looks like that will be 1st down. Carry there again by number 32, Alvin Hicks. And he will give the Builders a 1st and 10, just shy of their 47-yard line.
And right there, just a well-executed play from the Builders offense. The offensive line holding strong. Normally, as a defense, you'll be okay with a 3-yard gain on a run, but when the play's 4th and 1, you need less than that.
And that will be the end of the first quarter. So overall, Mark, a pretty well-played first quarter by the Knights of Southern Virginia University. They end up the quarter leading 7-0.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't have asked more from the defense in that first quarter. It was a sight to see how much this defense has improved just from last year, having some consistency in the secondary and getting some new players up front. Looks really good from the Knights defense. Knights offense has some things to work out, but they're playing well, playing on the same page, and just need to get those connections down more. And the Knights can break this one open. Obviously, 7-0 is not a safe lead by any stretch of the imagination, as shown by head coach Dupay, going for it on 4th down, putting in effort, trying to make every possession count. But you gotta like to see the improvement from this Knights team.
No, absolutely. A year ago, final score, played at the Apprentice School was 44-9, but here we are, 1 quarter in. The Knights are ahead 7-0. And, even though the Knights are still a young team, Coach DePay, he was talking about how a year ago there were 30 freshmen on the two deep roster. This year, 21 sophomores. So still young, 12 freshmen, but that experience that you mentioned, is certainly coming into play here so far in the first 15 minutes. So Jones in the shotgun. Isaiah Townsend in motion. Jones with the pass, and that is caught. That's number 15. Baker Green with the reception and the first down for the Builders.
Yeah, I mean, the Knights defender might have even gotten there a little bit early on that defense, but just an excellent catch, excellent rotation to get the ball in his hands, and then just kept trucking forward. Great play there from the Builders as they get on the Knights side of the field for the first time tonight.
And that was a good throw by the quarterback, Jones. When he first let that go, it looked like the Knights had that well defended, which they did, like you mentioned. Just a good catch, good pass, good catch. And again, Alvin Hicks now with another carry. Looks like that's a gain of 6 for Hicks. It'll be 2nd and 4 now for the Builders. And for the first time, Mark, we're starting to see the Builders move the ball a little bit here on this possession.
Yeah, and I think a big reason for that, you're starting to see the Builders offensive line start to get those first game jitters out and really start to mesh as a unit. They only have 3 returners from last year. Every other player on that offensive line is a freshman. So takes some time to get that meshing, but through the first quarter, they're starting to figure it out.
High snap disrupts the timing a little bit, but that's Colby Messi carrying the ball once again for about 14 yards. And it's going to be a 1st and 10. Builders moving the ball, 1st and 10 at the Knights' 23-yard line. And Mark, that play looked like it might be broken from the start with the bad snap, but Jones was able to bring it down. Might have actually worked in their advantage. And that run by Messi, once again, well defended. That is Cade Hansen. Cade Hansen with the tackle.
And you'd like to see the Knights defense adapting on the fly. The Builders found a play that was working, going up the middle with that run. Knights being willing to adapt and change how they're working it on the fly to get that stop there.
Kendall Hunt, the quarterback now for the Builders. He takes the snap and goes around the left end, but the Knights defense swarms and takes him down after a gain of maybe 1 yard there, Mark.
Yeah, I love this specific improvement from the Knights defense. Last year there were a lot of times where the Knights would get a nice 3rd and 9 on defense, and they would put pressure on the quarterback would escape, and their opponent would end up getting a 1st down. So the Knights have handled Jones running here very well in this first half.
So Jones back on the field to run this 3rd and 10 play with the pass out in the flat. Good catch there by Messi. Pass was a little bit behind him, but Messi was able to pull it in and take the ball down to the 5-yard line. So it'll be 1st and goal for the Builders.
That was a really well-designed play there from head coach Brown. Getting Messi open, getting your skill player open, like we talked about earlier, getting your athletic players out on the edges with room to run. Builders taking advantage of that play.
Hunt back on the field as the quarterback. And he's going to take it. And the Knights will bring him down, looks like, at the 3-yard line. So a gain of 2.
brought down at the 3-yard line. Second and goal.
Looks like he was brought down on that play mark by Joseph Woods Jr., number 9 for the Knights. Travaris Jones back as quarterback with the pitch. That's out to Ty Taylor, and he stretches, and he's going to go into the end zone for the Builders.
Now the Builders really starting to pull out the tricks here. They conditioned the Knights to be expecting that down the middle run, push it down the throats. Got the really good pitch outside. Builders get their first score of the game.
And that was Ty Taylor. He was their leading rusher a year ago. We haven't called his name too much so far. So far, most of the carries had gone to Alvin Hicks and Colby Messi. But Ty Taylor takes that pitch and takes it into the end zone. And here is the extra point, and that is blocked by the Knights. And it's picked up and being returned, and the Builders are able, looks like the returner there. So number 6, going to be Alex Passy. Picked up the block.
And there you go, there's the Knights special teams again. The improvement on that side of the ball has been incredible, with now the 4th impact play of the game coming from the special teams. And it's fascinating, both teams didn't expect that. It was just Passy there who picked up the ball and had the knowledge to start running and going. Everyone else seemed frozen, like stunned that had happened. Unfortunately for Passy, he didn't have enough room to get all the way, but very good play from the Knights defense there, the Knights special teams.
Back to return for the Knights is Stephen Leo and Alex Passy. So possibly Passy could get another opportunity here to take the ball and head in the direction of the end zone. Eastman. And it looks like it's going to be Leo on the return. He's got an alley, and Leo takes it up to the 45-yard line, where the kicker, Eastman, was the first to trip him up. So Mark, again, 2 kickoffs, and the Knights have done well on both to return. They've taken one back to the their 39-yard line, and this one, referees are going to spot it at just about the 48-yard line, so near midfield.
Yeah, this is a welcome sight to see. And on that kickoff specifically, it wasn't even broke tackles or a big, huge play. It was just very well done blocking on the special teams to just give them a wide lane right up the middle, which is the hardest place to block on a kickoff.
Watson to Sollers, and Sollers got some room. And that's number 4, Chase Gaines, taking Sollers down after a gain of 7. But Mark, if Sollers could have broken that tackle, now that's a hard task because Gaines, he was the leading tackler for the Builders a year ago.
Yeah, I mean, Gaines definitely saved at least probably 15, an additional 8 yards there on that play. So great job there. But the Knights
Watson
in good position.
Throws it behind the line, and that was well defended. So that was Isaiah Maxey who caught that pass. Of course, Isaiah Maxey has been a quarterback for the Knights in years past. This year, making the move to wide receiver, but that gives a little bit of flexibility A little bit of variety to the Knight offense.
Oh, yeah. Head coach Dupay, he loves to do those plays. I mean, last year he had a design play against the Builders where Tucker McCormick, wide receiver, took the pass and was the sole touchdown for the Knights that day. But now having Maxey transition to wide receiver gives him an even better weapon on that front.
And Watson with the pass out to the tight end, Scott Dupay. And that gives the Knights a first down. And that is at the Builders' 37-yard line. Watson again looking to throw to Dupay again. That is picked off by the Builders. Picked off there by number 24, Elijah Scott. And he takes that back to the Builder 40-yard line where the Builders will pick up 1st and 10 here with 9 minutes, 3 seconds left in the half.
And pretty much everything was there on that play. Just Watson wanted to force it so bad, wanted to get a deep one there. And the Builders with double coverage down there at the 20. Really well defended. And the Knights had good, they had good offensive line play. They had good routes run. Just needed to get the right decision made there.
Scott stepping in front of that pass, making the interception for the Builders. 1st and 10, Jones looking to throw. He is taken down there. That is number 96, Sawyer Rasmussen, getting the sack.
And Sawyer, one of those experienced players from last year coming in. Knights didn't get too many sacks last year, but now 2 already in this game compared to last year. They had a total of 12 in 10 games. So the 2 today already making a massive improvement from last year.
2nd and 15 for the Builders. Jones again to pass, pressure, and that's picked off by number 28, Britton Tidwell. And Tidwell is going to walk it into the end zone, and the Knights will take a 13-6 lead with the point after pending. Mark, you were just talking about the defense, much improved from last year, able to put the pressure on the quarterback, and that was an example right there. Jones had pressure in his face. I believe it was again number 24 or 44, Caden Hansen, and he just basically threw that ball out into the flat, right into the hands of Britton Tidwell.
Yeah, and that's the effect that a good pass rush can have on your team. Credit Sawyer Rasmussen for getting the sack before, making the quarterback nervous for the next play. Credit the pressure on that play. So much going on there. That was so good.
And now the Builders return the favor by blocking the point after. And finally, there's a scrum for the ball. But it is whistled dead now. So the score will remain 13-6 for the Knights. And how about that as a debut for Britton Tidwell, the freshman linebacker out of Bountiful, Utah. Gets an early gift and is able to walk it into the end zone. It really won't be any, if he thinks that's the way his career's going, it's probably not going to be that easy every week.
Probably not, but if he keeps hyping up his defensive line, it might be. But a really good start for him, and that's one of the things this nice team, the excitement around this team for this year, is that really we just need some of those freshmen to step up, and the bones of this team are there. The bones of the offense, the bones of the defense, just need some of these freshmen to fill in those extra holes and really make this team into a contender. But also credit the Builders defense. Getting that extra point would have been huge. Normally extra points aren't like the most dramatic plays of the game, but with having gotten the first one blocked on the Builders side, going down 8 would have been a huge difference versus still being down 7.
And Scott Dupay ready to send this ball to the Builders. Baker Green back. Looks like he will receive. Ball, he lets it hit the ground. It stays in bounds. Now he's got to pick it up. And there he is wrapped up by number 23, Scott Pease, and 36, Joseph Kroger. And the Builders will now take over at their own 17-yard line.
And I mean, what a perfectly placed kick from Dupay there. Gave the Builders the thought that it might go out of bounds because of how well placed it was. Knights have the Builders pinned within their own 20. And I mean, they're just, besides the one false start, the one false start from the special teams unit, there have been no mistakes on the side of the Knights. It has been amazing to watch how disciplined this team is, both receiving and sending out.
You know, it's good that you bring that up, Mark. You know, today, you know, I mentioned I was on the phone with Coach DePay, and also he sent me a text. You know, and just want to go over that a little bit of what his philosophy has been this year. He said they're taking pride in having the philosophy of getting better each day, every day, and that's what they're calling the Knights Edge. And what that means, they want to do the right things in the right moment, consistently and persistently over a long period of time, to allow us to have success in every part of their lives as they develop into better men, which will make them a better team. And we're seeing that. You mentioned the discipline that we're already seeing just, you know, 22 minutes into the game here. You know, we are seeing a different type of discipline by this Knights team so far.
Yeah. I mean, you look in all levels of football, and one of the biggest determining factors of success is how the special teams perform. What are your starting field positions looking like? What are your opponent's starting field positions looking like? The Patriots consistently with Tom Brady had top 10 field positions on both sides, which is a big reason for their success. The Knights trying to emulate that here and doing very well at it.
Yes, Mark Duffin did bring up the Patriots. He is from the Northeast. Wouldn't have expected anything different. And Jones, under pressure again, throws one across the middle, and that was almost picked off by C.J. Williams, or Alex Passy, rather. It'll be 2nd and 10 for the Builders, again from their 17-yard line. Handoff again to Messi, and the Knights defense stepping up once again. That is Trayden Henderson, number 95, a freshman from right here in Buena Vista, Virginia.
And you can see the defensive line starting to grow in confidence. The defense got a couple good possessions, but then the Builders started smacking them in the face down the middle again and again and again, and then passing to supplement that. Now the defensive line getting punched in the face, recovering, and gaining confidence by the snap.
So after the 1-yard tackle for loss by Henderson, Builders face a 3rd and 11 from their 16-yard line. Jones back to pass. And he is going to complete that pass right on the sideline. A great catch there by number 18, and that is Isaiah Townsend. And now the referees confer, and they are going to say that that ball is incomplete. So the referees coming together, and they will overturn that catch. Good effort nonetheless by Townsend. And that will put the Builders into 4th down and long. And once again, their punter, Logan Eastman, onto the field. Eastman gets the kick away. And it is going to go out of bounds at the Knights' 49-yard line. So once again, Mark, Knights have excellent field position to start.
Yeah, that one credit to the defense. Got a little bit of a gift there from Townsend, just bobbling the ball just a little bit as he went out of bounds for the incomplete pass. But the Knights have had just excellent field position. There's a huge difference from needing to go 70, 80 yards from needing to go 51. So if you go 51 and you manage to only get 20, 25 yards, you're in field goal range as opposed to still being on your side of the field. Makes a huge difference if you're the Knights.
And it puts the defense on the heels to start with. And Watson there with a good pass. Short pass to DJ Perry. And that will be a gain of 9 yards, it looks like. And that puts the Knights in a 2nd and 1. Watson over the middle, caught. And that will be a first down to the Builders' 33-yard line. Pass caught there once again by the tight end, Henry Audette. Saulers on the carry. And he is stood up at about the 30-yard line for a gain of 3. And Saulers a little slow to get up. So we will have a timeout on the field. Saulers up and leaving the field under his own power. That's always good to see.
Yeah, that can be scary there in one of those scrums. Your legs are obviously your most important trait as a running back, and so if you're in those scrums, someone rolls over, your leg twists, you can be really worried and be really scared and feel that pain without actually anything ending up too wrong.
A lot of strong guys there, and you don't always get to choose how you go down.
Nope, not at all.
So glad to see Saulers up and running off the field. 2nd down, 7 to go here. Watson throws it up top. He's got a receiver. That was Stephen Leo, but well defended there by the Builders. That's number 12. Jarrell Burse breaks up that pass mark. That was a touchdown right there. Pass right on the money.
Yeah, a perfect pass, extremely well placed, but Burles just getting his hand in there, poking it out. You can't have much better than that as a defensive back.
Good defense. Good play all the way around there. Watson throws it out, and a great catch there. That's number 87, Jax Ventier. First down for the Knights at the 22-yard line of the Builders. Good to see Watson shake off that interception that he threw on the previous possession. And right there, looking for Scott DePay, and there is a flag. Looked like Sincere Hawkins may have gotten there just a little early, and the flag came out pretty quickly.
Yeah, and that's one of those plays where DuPay didn't really have that much of a shot at the ball there. Hawkins just needed to be a little bit more a little bit more reserved there, would have gotten a good incompletion, but just a little too early. Now the Knights with the first down.
The first down being the biggest damage to the Builders right there. You know, the yardage, a gain of 3 is what it amounted to. But the Knights will take the new set of downs at the 19-yard line. And I think we can go ahead and just call that was a little motion early there by the Knight offensive line.
Yeah, just a little bit. Sometimes those snap counts can get the offense too.
So that will back the Knights up to the Builder 24-yard line. 1st and 15. Screen pass out to Sollers. Knights have blockers set up. And Sollers is going to take that down to the 15-yard line, a gain of 9 on the play.
And that's a huge play there from Sollers and from the blockers there on the Knight side. Creating that space, getting back in front of the original 10. It's a manageable second down now.
And we mentioned just a little bit earlier, that's a play there where that discipline really comes in. Sollers got the ball. You know, obviously he's making the moves and finding the space out there, but, you know, the Knights, the offensive line and those receivers out there in the flat, holding those blocks and allowing him to gain that 9 yards.
Absolutely.
Timeout taken by the Apprentice School. That is their second, so each team left with 1 timeout here in this first half as we wind down. There's 4 minutes, 38 seconds left. SVU leading the Apprentice School by a score of 13-6.
That was a good timeout there from head coach Brown. Almost had a 12 men on the field penalty there. Knights were almost about to take advantage of it too, which is why the refs had to come in and stop the play. But a great timeout there. Keeps from the additional 5 yards there for the Knights. But we'll have second down as usual.
Teams lining up now as we are ready to get back to play. Once again, second down, 6 to go for the Knights from the 15-yard line of the Apprentice School. And a good read there by the Apprentice School. That's number 48, Kayvon Rouse, busting through the offensive line and bringing Sollers down for a loss of 6 on the play. Bringing up 3rd and 12 for the Knights.
Yeah, and if you're the Knights, you just need a 5-6 yard gain here to really get into solid field goal range on this 3rd down.
Washington in motion. Watson, he's got a man. Just a little beyond the outstretched hands. That is Washington, Jerick Washington out there. Watson had Washington in space there. A tough throw though, Mark.
Yeah, it's a difficult throw to place. And Watson, he's trying to figure this out too. He isn't a professional. He's trying to learn how to improve here as well.
Fourth and 12. Knights lining up. Watson again. He's got DePay in the end zone. And it is knocked loose there by number 22, Jabari Anderson of the Builders, breaking up that touchdown. Again, another great play all the way around. Great route run by Scott DePay. A great throw by Watson, hit him right on the hands. But again, Jabari Anderson timing it up perfectly for the Builders to break that up.
Yeah, and you can see what head coach Dupay's mindset here when he has a lead. He wants to push it. He wants to go for it. He clearly doesn't want to settle for field goals. He wants to trust his offense and wants to get touchdowns. Obviously, they're not quite working out, but Builders at the 21. Again, not the worst.
Once again, the execution was there. There was execution by both sides. Screen pass by the Builders. And in space, that is number 6 for the Builders, TK Petty. Somewhat of a quiet half for the leading receiver a year ago from the Builders, TK Petty. That was the first time that he really got the ball in some space.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell the Knights defense is really keying on him. Last year when the Knights played Apprentice, he had 3 receptions, all 3 for touchdowns. So the Knights defense absolutely keeping an eye on him. And his first big gain coming just 3 minutes left in the first half. You'll take that as the Knights defense.
Absolutely. Gain of 14 on the play. Handoff goes up the middle. That is Ty Taylor. And a gain of 1 on the play.
Second down for the Builders.
Two minutes, 40 seconds left here in this first half. Builders hoping to get a tying score here before the half. Knights defense trying to prevent just that from happening. Jones back to pass, another screen to Petty. Petty's in the middle, got some room. And then the Knights defense is able to swarm him and bring him down. That is Spike Adams and Kavika Bringhurst teaming up to bring Petty down, but not before Petty earns a first down for the Builders. And that play will bring us to the 2-minute break here at the end of the first half.
And clearly the Builders not willing to go quietly into the night, working really hard to adapt to what the Knights are doing defensively. Knights had 2 great plays on screen passes on the Builder side where they caused that interception, that pick 6, got a sack. So the Builders adapted, changed their blocking scheme, and have now been able to use that to get down the field in this possession. So it's up to the Knights. The Knights are the ones hitting first, getting those first blows, and it's working really well. But the Builders are coming right back with the second punch. You have to be willing to keep going, keep adapting, and keep building on what you've already done.
Absolutely, you have to expect that the Builders will make some adjustments. You know, we talked the 2 big names that they talked about coming into this game were Ty Taylor, the running back, and TK Petty, the receiver. And now they're looking for ways to break that open. Ty Taylor's still been fairly quiet, carrying the ball. Of course, he did score their lone touchdown. But now TK Petty, they're looking to get him more involved. And, you know, the Knights defense, they're going to have to make some adjustments on that.
Absolutely.
Got to give Coach Brown a lot of credit. I watched his coaches show this week, and he was not putting past anything the Knights. He knew that they'd taken care of the Knights last year by a score of 44-9, but he did talk about, you know, the team being more experienced this year, and he expected more of this type of battle here tonight, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, these 2 head coaches have gone at it, a battle of wills and minds here, ultimately going to be the deciding factor, this one likely.
Jones gets the snap, hands to Taylor, and Taylor fighting for about 4 yards on first down. It'll be 2nd and 6. Call it 7 for the Builders. Jones ready for the snap. And he'll look for a quick pass here to the near side. And that will go in and out of the hands of number 80, Jeremiah Gainey. And that will bring up 3rd down and 7 here with 1:25 left in this first half.
The Knights here with an advantageous 3rd down. Always the case, you got to keep winning with this. Last time they did win, but just unfortunately allowed an easy 4th down that was then converted. So winning here, you need to get 2 yards less. Make sure that 4th down is a difficulty for the Builders.
This is one of those 3rd downs, I'm sure, where Coach DePay was saying we got to win these. And there we have Jones in the grasp. Once again, that's Trayden Henderson rushing the quarterback, forcing him to throw it away. And that will bring up 4th down for the Builders with 1:19 left, and they're going to drop a flag. I believe that's going to be intentional grounding, Mark.
Yeah, I think so as well. I mean, there wasn't any receiver anywhere in the area. And that I like the line judge going up and asking the Whitecap, like, what do we do? What should we do in this moment? But we'll see if they keep that flag out. They might not with it being quick, but great pressure again, like we talked about Trayvon Henderson. That's already the 2nd time we've mentioned his name, getting to the quarterback, putting pressure on. Didn't get the sack, but got something pretty much even better.
So that is intentional grounding by Jones. And that will put the Builders 4th down and 13. So Eastman is on to punt. And Jalen Lackey back to receive for the Knights. Eastman gets it away. Lackey's going to let it bounce, and a good punt by Eastman. That is going to hit on the sideline at the 11-yard line. So the Knights will take over 1st and 10 at their own 11-yard line with 1:12 left to go in the half. So Mark, this will be our first opportunity to see the Knight 2 minutes offense this season.
Yeah, this is an important thing here for the Knights. You at least have to burn enough times where you don't give the Builders another chance. Right, that is first and foremost. Builders still have a timeout. If they get the ball at the 50-yard line, there's still a chance for a field goal there. So at the very least, you have to burn a lot of clock. The Knights only have 1 timeout in 1:12 to get down the field. So this will be a very intensive 2-minute drill if they're going to do it successfully.
Good thing being the Builders also only have 1 timeout remaining. So Knights going to go ahead and run the ball. The handoff to Saulers. He's going to pick up, it looks like 4 yards. Out to the 15.
And you can see this is probably the first safe thing head coach DePay has done all game. Just running the ball, letting the clock go so we can go into the second half with a lead, a 7-point lead, a good lead to go into the second half.
Yeah, deep in their own territory. Nothing wrong with this decision. Hand the ball off a couple times. Maybe the line breaks a hole open. There's Saulers. Looks like about a gain of 2. And the Apprentice school is going to take their final timeout of the half.
Yeah, and it's a smart timeout. It's a smart timeout to force the Knights to do one more play because something could happen. Something bad could happen, which is why Coach DePay was even doing this in the first place. So really good timeout from Coach Brown. If you're the Knights, you can go extra safe and just kneel it. But of course, you want the possible chaos of maybe the line breaks something open. Maybe we get a huge gain all the way to the end. So it'll be interesting to see what head coach DePay will do here with this play. Knowing him, he'll probably try and get a good gain here.
So they brought Saulers down for a loss on the play. So it's 3rd and 8, 26 seconds remaining. Coach Brown spends his last time out of the half. You can't blame him. He wants to force the Knights to execute at least one more snap. And the Knights, once again, they'll hand it to Sollers, and he'll head straight ahead. Gains about 6 on the play, short of the first down. And with that, we'll have the clock run out on this opening half of the season for the Knights and the Builders. So, Mark, a pretty solid first half for the Southern Virginia Knights. I think everybody in crimson and white's got to be happy with what they've seen here in this first half.
No, absolutely. I mean, and especially credit the special teams and the defense. The less flashy, the less exciting part of football. But that's the part that the Knights have focused on and really gotten down in terms of their discipline and willingness to buy into Coach Dupay's system. And that's the reason, I mean, just last year, Apprentice was putting up 44 points on these Knights. I believe 30-ish of those points came in the first half. So a huge difference just focusing on that, and that's why the Knights are going up. 13 points is a decent offensive showing. I mean, you have the defense helping with that too, but having your opponent down at 6 points at half is exactly what you want if you're head coach Dupay.
Absolutely. 13 to 6 lead going into the halftime. And the other thing is, the offense, they scored 7. Defense put up the other 6. But you can't complain with anything that's happened so far. The offensive line, they've been solid. They've provided protection for Watson. Watson's made some good throws. He did have the one interception, but you're not going to be perfect on the season. But he has made some good throws, and honestly, without a great defensive play by the defense, by the Builders, the Knights have 20 points up on the board here at halftime.
Yeah, I mean, you got to think, there were 2 broken up passes near the Knights end zone, both caused by the Builders defense. And then the one pass, if you remember, that was where you had Marcus Solers, who got the fade.
Absolutely.
And got the open field and just got tackled just from behind. If those 3 plays go any differently, the Knights are up big. So you got to credit the Builders defense there, but you also got to like what the Knights offense is cooking here.
Absolutely, Mark. So a great half of football. We are going to go ahead and take the break at halftime. It's 13 Southern Virginia and 6 for the Apprentice School. We'll be back for the second half.
big round of applause and welcome back to the field our very own Southern Virginia University marching band. The band will kick off this season with music from the hit movie Cheers. This tribute will begin with a classic hard-hitting cartoon from 1967, the Spencer Davis Group's iconic Singing Some Letters. Is one of the biggest names in the music industry today. This week is more than an engagement to celebrate. Get ready to sing along as the band pays tribute to none other than Taylor Swift with her 2014 hit song, Take It Off. This 1983 hit is certified double platinum and continues to prove a timeless song with successful covers have been recorded by Karen Egerton on the cast of Green. You can't keep this band down. They're here to let everyone know that they're still standing. Virginia University All-Stars.
I'm supposed to take them home, bro. They're my priority tonight. Where'd they go?
It doesn't matter, dude. I'm really excited.
Also, if you guys are great feeling of the lesson behind the engine, please make your way back to your vehicle and please with your same
Well, not quite. Anyway, Amos
We want to welcome everybody back to Knight Stadium here in Buena Vista. Take a look at that sunset, everybody. Perfect timing as we come back from halftime. One of the perks of being here in Buena Vista, right, Mark?
Oh, yes, the beautiful view up here. It's probably the hardest place they could have built the fields, but hey, when you get views like that, it's worth it.
Beautiful night here in Buena Vista, and so far, Mark, we've been treated to a pretty good football game here between the Knights and the Builders.
Yeah, I mean, defense has been the name of the game. One touchdown for each team, one blocked extra point. The difference in the game being the one interception, the one pick six on the Knights side. So both defenses have come to play, have been extremely effective at limiting the run especially, but it's just been all around a great game from both teams.
So we are getting ready here for the kickoff to this second half. The Knights will be kicking to the Builders here. Scott DePay ready to kick it away here momentarily. DePay narrowly missed scoring a touchdown there in that first half, Mark, as the Builders were able to knock the ball away. Beautiful play from Watson to DePay. So the Knights here will start on defense. And so far tonight, the defense has played pretty well. So far, they have given up a total of 129 yards of total offense to the Builders. And the kickoff goes to Baker, and he is brought down by the Knights special teams at the Builder 24-yard line. So the Builders will start there, 1st and 10 here in this second half.
Yeah, and I mean, right there we saw what we looking through the team stats during halftime. The one thing that you and I both agreed on, that was like the difference of the game, and the big statistical difference was the kick return yards. Right, both teams in the first half had 2 kick returns. The Knights had 79 yards on those kick returns. The Builders, 26. And right there, another short return that didn't go very far. The Builders, again, with not bad, but not great field position again.
Hand off to Taylor. As we mentioned, Taylor fairly quiet in the first half outside of the short touchdown run that he had. So it looks like perhaps the Builders are going to try and get him established here early in the second half.
And I mean, last year he was a player that averaged 5.6 yards per carry, a really effective runner. The Knights have held him to a pretty ineffective night, but of course a whole lot of half to go. See if the Knights can keep that up.
Jones with the pass over the middle. That's going to go for a first down.
Right there, very disciplined play from Jones. Stand in the pocket, knew he was going to get hit on that play, but still delivered a good pass, didn't let it bother him, and took the hit.
First down for the Builders. Ball on the 27-yard line. That's their own 27-yard line. And a handoff to Hicks. And he will take that out to the 42, 41-yard line.
And the Builders here just cranking out some good, decent second down opportunities. Not having some big explosive runs, but just getting enough yards to dictate the pace of the game.
Jones with the pitch to Taylor, and he's caught in the backfield and brought down. And now a flag has been thrown. Looks like it is likely to be a late hit on Jones after he had handed the ball off. Making the play on the runner was number 28, Britton Tidwell, the freshman that scored on the pick six in the first half. That is the difference in the game at this point. It is a personal foul, late hit, which is going to give the Builders a first down and 15 yards. And that will take the ball into Knight territory at the 44.
And the thing in the first half, we were praising the Knights' discipline all through the first half, an extremely disciplined half from the Knights. To start the second half up 7, starting with that is not the best look that you want to have.
Hicks on the carry. And he is going to take it for 8 yards. And going back to that personal foul mark, that's the first time really that we have seen tonight the Knights show a lack of discipline, and ultimately they paid the price with, you know, one of those things where on one hand they get a tackle for loss. It's going to put the Builders in a long situation behind the sticks.
On third down, yeah. On
third down, and the result is a first down. And the Builders continue this drive. 2nd and 3 from the 37 of the Knights. And a pass that is tipped. It goes off the hands of the Builders. Almost another pick for Tidwell. Pass was a little high, intended for Townsend. It went off his fingertips. Tidwell just couldn't quite pick it up off before it hit the ground. So 3rd and 3 now for the Builders. Knights looking to dig in here defensively and come up with a stop. Jones with the pitch. And the Knights will stack up and bring down Alvin Hicks again on the carry.
That was a big play right there. The 4th down was going to be maybe a 4th and 2, 4th and 3. Yet another yard there, 4th and 4. 3 runs isn't a great, 3 yards isn't a great run, but if you can get a first down with it, that's all you need. But now 4 yards is what you need. It's a big difference in a game of inches.
They're calling it a long 4, possibly 5. Jones in the shotgun, looking to throw. And he puts a throw up over the middle, and a great catch. Brought out of the air. Not sure if that was Petty or Gainey on the catch. It was hard to tell. But it went off their hands at first and then came back down right into his hands, and that'll be the first down for the Builders.
Yeah, it looked like the nice defender got a hand on it there. Great defensive play from the front seven, from the secondary, but just great job sticking with the play on the side of the Builders.
And there's a great defensive play by the Knights. They get to Hicks in the backfield and drop him for a loss of 2. You know, again, Mark, that previous play, just another example we've talked about tonight of great plays on both sides of the ball.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, there have been several times tonight where both teams do as best as they can, and just one of them happens to win out on that one. You had the play in the end zone with Dupay. You had that one right there. Just several things that make up a play, and both teams can play well, and it doesn't succeed for both of them.
Absolutely. So a loss of 3 on the play, 2nd and 13. Jones being chased and brought down, and that's Britton Tidwell. How about Britton Tidwell, the freshman out of Bountiful, Utah, having a night in his debut here at Southern Virginia?
Yeah, he is showing why Coach Dupay is having the faith in him to put him out there in the opening game of the season, making a huge impact for the Knights.
And after the Builders were able to go on a good drive here to open up this second half, they now find themselves in a 3rd and 19 from the Knights' 35-yard line. Play caught, running down, and the Builders are forced to take a timeout, their first of the half.
And with this close of a game and how well both teams are playing defensively, that could be a huge timeout come the end of the 4th quarter. That's one that you don't get back.
Absolutely, most likely Coach Brown not happy to have to burn that timeout, you know, especially on a 3rd and 19. But like we said, this is a drive that they've been on now for almost 6 minutes. You know, they got it down to the 30-yard line of the Knights, but now they find themselves backed up here in a 3rd and 19. So, you know, this is one of those plays, while it's early here in the second half, Mark, a lot of momentum can be gained by whoever succeeds on this play right here.
Yeah, and I mean, if you're head coach Brown, you don't even need a first down on this 3rd down. You just need to get back into field goal range to cut this lead to less than 1 score, to where a touchdown wins you the game instead of ties it. So, very important drive. You can't just eat the delay of game here, because you need to get some points on the board if you're Apprentice.
No, absolutely. As they move the ball well here to begin the half, they'd hate to come away without any points here. And once again, I think both coaches would agree this is one of those 3rd downs that each team is thinking they have to win right here. Jones lofts one up in the air, and the Knights defend it well, and that ball will fall to the ground incomplete. And that will bring up 4th down. Quickly checking the field for any laundry, and I don't see any flags. So 4th and 19 for the Builders, and it looks like they will send the punting team on. Eastman, of course, he handles all the kicking duties for the Builders. It'll be a long field goal, but they are going into punt formation. Jalen Lackey back at his 5-yard line to receive the punt. And not a great punt. It looks like it goes out of bounds at the 20-yard line for the Knights. So a 15-yard punt for the Builders. And that is where the Knights will take over on their initial possession of this second half.
That's one of the risks you run playing a pound-it style offense that drains the clock a lot. 6 minutes there on that possession for the Builders, that if you don't end up coming away with anything, you're down by 7 and you just have 6 less minutes.
Absolutely, and I think they'd like to have had a little bit better punt result there. You know, pin the Knights inside their 20 instead. They'll start right at the 20. The Knights have to be happy with that stand. Watson with the fake, and he's got some room on the far side of the field. He will take that out to the 37-yard line. A gain of 17 on the play, and the Knights will go 1st and 10. Quickly to the line. Watson finds Jarique Washington for another first down into the Builders territory. That's the 38-yard line of the Builders. Referees, sorry, Mark, go ahead.
Now you're seeing the Knights just trying to out-effort the Builders, just trying to go as fast as possible, not letting this defense get set or do anything differently.
And Sollers with the second attempt. He was met, looked like he was going to be dropped for a gain of 3, but instead he was able to keep his balance and push that out for a gain of 4. 2nd and 6. Knights continue to go no huddle. Watson, he's going to run, and he'll pick up another 3 yards, which will leave the Knights in a 3rd and short. 3rd and 2.
And that's just 2 good runs, one designed, one making the best out of nothing. The offense really trying to hum and trying to force it by speed. Some well-executed play here.
And Watson with a quick completion. That is MJ Laws. That's MJ's first completion of the night. Goes for a first down.
And I love hearing Laws getting involved with so many receivers from last year, moving on and doing different things. Laws is going to be an important role player for this Knights offense this season.
Watson flushed out of the pocket, and he runs into his own lineman, and he'll be dropped there for a loss of 5. And now we've got a little skirmish on the field. Plenty of yellow hitting the grass. So we'll wait and see how this will all sort out.
And that's just frustrating if you're both fans from both teams right there. Obviously, the Builders getting that first penalty there on the late hit, but the Knights responding, and then nothing happens. There's not going to be no change here when the Knights had a 15-yard play. It's not a great play for either team there.
Yeah, likely we'll see how the referees work this out. If it was an initial late hit, not sure if they'll call that a dead ball or not. Could end up with offsetting or something enforced because it's after the play.
Yeah, I mean, this could end up, despite the penalty flag first coming on the Builders, it could be because of the very blatant late hit by the Knights, that the Knights end up losing yardage because the first penalty wasn't a dead ball, so it wouldn't offset. And at the moments like these, you have to feel bad for the referees. 4 flags on the field, somehow have to figure out what's going to happen here. Definitely not an enviable position.
So we'll go ahead and listen in here as the referee makes the call.
After the play, personal foul, late hit, number 71, offense. Personal foul, late hit, number 2, defense. Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 2, defense. No foul canceled, which is number 2, first unsportsmanlike of the game. Second down.
So multiple fouls on that. First of all, the Knights. Number 71, Christian Jennings with the personal foul. And then number 2 for the Builders, Wilberto Sanchez picks up the late hit and an unsportsmanlike. That's his first of the evening. So the result of the play will stand as all penalties were thrown after the whistle.
And that's the right call by the refs. Definitely the result of that play should have stood, because both teams equally deserve penalties there.
So 2nd and 19 for the Knights. Thrown up top, and it is caught, and that is a touchdown to Jalen Williams. Another great throw by Devin Watson, hauled in by the freshman. And the Knights jump out to a 19-6 lead with the extra point to come.
And that's the vintage Watson that we've been waiting for all game. He loves to throw it deep. It's his greatest desire. He finally got one through. Great catch by Williams.
And this time, Passy executes the extra point, and that will push the Knights out to a 20-6 lead over the Builders. So, Mark, an example right there of the Knights being resilient this year. You know, they give up the sack on Watson. They lose 9 yards. 2nd and 19, and Watson bounces right back and throws a perfect pass into the end zone for his 2nd touchdown pass of the evening.
Yeah, that was an incredible sequence. That's about as football as it gets right there. Get some scrumming, get some anger, and then just an absolute dot from Watson. And yeah, completely agree. The resiliency to not let that affect you, not let it get in your mindset, not let that lose your discipline continually, obviously, to not let it snowball, and to take back control of the game, put it on your terms.
So Watson, 17 of 26 on the evening with 2 touchdowns and 145 yards. This is Baker taking back the kick, and he is brought down by a trio of Knight special teams players at the 29-yard line of the Builders. So that is where the Builders will take over, down by 2 touchdowns with 6 minutes, 23 seconds left in the 3rd quarter here this evening.
And to call that the worst executed kickoff defense by the Knights is a compliment to how well they've played all night. To still have the Builders behind their 30 is just, this has been a special teams performance from the Knights tonight.
Baker Green had a little path there. You know, he was able to get past the first wave, but the second wave brought him down at the 29-yard line. So here is Jones. Looking for Petty. Jones was hit just as he threw it. It was a little underthrown, but Petty was able to make the adjustment and haul it in at the Knights' 41-yard line. So 1st and 10 for the Builders. So just like that, the Builders showing that they aren't done yet.
Oh no, I mean, that's the type of game-changing ability Petty has. He gets open downfield. He gets big gains, big plays that shift the momentum of the game. So the Knights have to make sure they did a great job containing him in the first half. They have to keep that up.
Jones again looking to throw, and underthrows Townsend, and there's Britton Tidwell once again making a play on the ball. It was a little underthrown, so likely wasn't going to be a completion, and Tidwell wasn't able to quite get there to make a pick.
And this is an interesting thing we're seeing from this Knights defense. They're starting to really figure out how to shut down the short game, which obviously you want to prevent big plays, but the short game is the heart and blood of an offense. So the Knights defense really starting to show prowess in the short yardage situations.
Jones with a screen pass. That may have gone backwards. And that is Ty Smith that jumps on that loose ball. Referees are conferring. They're going to have to determine whether or not that ball was going backwards before it was tipped. And they have given the signal that it has been ruled a fumble.
And man, what has this pass rush done today? It has been effective. Jones has hardly had any time back there in the pocket. The few times he's had, he's made big plays, but the Knights just continually keeping on the pressure in the pocket.
And guess who that was getting his hand on that swing, on that screen pass? Britton Tidwell.
Oh my goodness. Have a night, young man.
So Knights, once again, after the Builders drive into their own drive into the Knight territory, they come up with a big play, and now Watson has 1st and 10 at the Builder 41, and that's a handoff to Sollers. And he is stacked up and taken down for a loss of 4.
Yeah, that's one of those things after you get a big touchdown, you get a big turnover, you can start to think that this game will start to come easy, that it will snowball in your favor. But you have 11 guys on the other side of the field that aren't going to let that happen. Got to keep the gas on the pedal, or the pedal on the gas. Goodness gracious. That didn't make any sense.
And the Builders, they bounce back with a strong defensive play there after the turnover. Watson, and he has Jerick Washington wide open for an 11-yard gain, and that will put the Knights in a 3rd and 3 at the Builder 37-yard line. Watson looking for Washington. And that was Sincere Hawkins making a break on that pass. Good pass defense by Sincere Hawkins. He almost had a pick of his own right there.
Yeah, lucky Watson aired it out a little more to the left than Hawkins could get to.
But once again, the Knights lined up to go for it. 4th and 3. Watson with a quick out. And that's going to be a 1st down. That's Isaiah Maxey with the reception.
And that's one of those things you can do with Isaiah Maxey. Just because he has that passing potential at that wide receiver spot, just creates so much chaos in how you line up, how you're supposed to defend that, what are you supposed to do. Just gets a nice, simple, easy play.
Watson under quick pressure once again, finds Maxey once again for a gain of 7. So Watson continues to be very efficient here in this second half.
Yeah, he's just making all the right decisions, making quick passes after that interception. He's really started to calm down and just do the best for his team.
Watson again. Jerick Washington with the catch. A short gain. Looks like a gain of 1. So that'll put the Knights in a 3rd and 2. They're at the Builder 25-yard line. And we are at 3 minutes left in this 3rd quarter, where the Knights continue to lead by a score of 20-6. Watson rather, directing traffic at the line, rolls out, and he's got Audette for a first down.
And credit to Audette, knowing what he needed, knowing he didn't need to keep going, keep fighting for every yard, needed to get a specific yard, got there, jumped ahead. Great play from Audette and Watson.
So Knights continue this drive at the 22-yard line. Watson improvises on the run, and he finds a receiver. That is number 87, Jax Vanchieri, his second reception of the evening. And it looks like there's going to be a personal foul on the Builders.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 11. After the end of the goal. First out.
So that penalty will go against Kamari Trueblood. And that's going to move the ball halfway to the goal line after the reception. And the referees are going to place that on the 9-yard line. So the Knights have first and goal from the Builder 9 with 2:07 left in this third period.
And this could be a huge pad touchdown here if the Knights can keep up the discipline and force it in.
There's a sweep and into the end zone goes number 40. That is Cruz Sage, his first carry of the evening. And how about that? The freshman from Dayton, Ohio, scores a touchdown on his first collegiate carry, Mark.
There you go. That's exactly what you need. And what we saw there, he was patient. He didn't just take the first lane he saw. He worked with his offensive lineman, ran with him, and the patience there allowed him to get over the edge, get into the end zone. Great first play from the young man.
So a 9-yard touchdown run for Cruz Sage in his first carry, and that takes the Knights out to a 27-6 lead as Passy converts the extra point. And we have 1 minute, 54 seconds left on the clock in the third quarter. And Mark, this game continues to go as well as the Knight coaching staff could have expected going into this game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all of that was initiated there by the pass rush on the Knights defense, getting a hand on it, forcing the backward pass out, getting the recovery, and then the offense, keeping with it. Disciplined, effective, and very fast, too. That's one of the things head coach DePay is doing with this team. He is not letting the defense adjust. He's not letting the defense catch a breath. Now, obviously, that takes a lot of endurance on the offense's part, but as you can see, they are willing to do it, and they are having a time doing it.
But I think we all know that when you're on offense and things are going, you don't ever want to take a break.
That's true. You just want to keep running forever.
You don't get tired when you see the scoreboard moving. And it also shows a lot of confidence that Coach DePay and this coaching staff have in Devin Watson and their offense as a whole, where they're allowing Devin to make those adjustments at the line, knowing that the offense understands the adjustments and are able to organize themselves on the fly like that. So the returner is Hicks, and he's out across midfield, but there is a penalty flag on the field. So we'll see if this return stands or if it's going to come back.
Just a booming run from Hicks there. His team's been mostly stopped on special teams. A big breakthrough there if it stands.
So referees having a discussion on the field at the moment with the flag on the field. Here comes the call from the referee.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the kicking team, number 20, 15 yards, added to the end of the run. First down.
So the flag actually was thrown on the Knights special teams, number 20, that's Dominic Bosco. Unnecessary roughness. So on top of a good return by Hicks, the Builders are going to get an extra 15 yards, which is going to take them down to the Knight 34-yard line, and that is where they will start this drive with 1:46 left in the third quarter.
And that's why every moment of the game, it's not over until it's over. You have to stay within your bounds. Because all of a sudden now, Builders get this. 2 touchdowns down with a quarter to go is overcomable.
Jones with a low pass. Intended for number 80, Jeremiah Gainey. You know, again, Mark, that was another pass by Jones that was off target, and I think we have to attribute that to the pressure that the Knight defense is putting on him time and time again when he's back to pass.
Absolutely. It's almost constant, the defensive line of the Knights pressuring the pocket, forcing it to crunch on Jones.
Jones with time. He leaves the pocket, and he will scramble for a gain of 5, it looks like. That's what they're going to spot. Put the ball at the 30-yard line. So this puts the Builders in a 3rd and 5.
And that's just an effective use of his head there by Jones. Knowing that the play wasn't going anywhere, the secondary of the Knights clamping down on the receivers, but taking for himself to give a manageable 3rd down.
And there's some misdirection. And that's going to go for a 1st down. Toss to Isaiah Townsend. Townsend picks up 14 on the play. So the Builders will have 1st and 10 from the Knight 16-yard line. Another toss to Townsend. More misdirection. A fake to Hicks going into the line and a toss to Townsend. He went looking to get outside the edge, but the Knights defended that well. A gain of 3 brings us to 2nd and 7, and that will be the final play of the 3rd quarter. So we will go, Mark, to the 4th quarter with the Knights ahead by a score of 27-6, and the Builders facing a 2nd and 7 from the Knight 13-yard line.
And you got to love on that play as a Knights fan. You got to love to see the adaptation. I mean, the way defense goes in football is fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. It's up to the defense to adapt to what the offense does, and right there, the Knights, making sure they don't get burned by the same play twice. Already showing improvement just from the first half where the Builders would find a play, run it 2 or 3 times and be able to get significant yardage. So the Knights already trying to work within the game and improve as time goes on.
No, absolutely. Overall tonight, the Knights, they've made some good adjustments, you know, both offensively and defensively. And outside of a couple of those late hit penalties, unsportsmanlike conduct penalties, I guess unnecessary roughness, what they've been called, you know, the discipline that the Knights are showing just in the constant details that they need to take care of every play. Not overrunning, you know, the play. They're staying home, playing their positions, you know, on defense, and then the blocks that are happening. So, you know, maybe some undisciplined plays after the whistle, but very much discipline in the play-to-play, offensively and defensively.
Absolutely.
This is Hunt back in the game, as we have seen the Builders do when they get inside the red zone. But once again, the Knights are able to diagnose the play and drop Hunt for a loss. And that now will put the Builders in a 3rd and 9 at the Knight 15-yard line.
Yeah, the Knights have been extremely cognizant of the quarterback runs, the design quarterback plays. It's been a joy to watch, honestly, as a Knights fan, to see that improvement from last season into today. The longest run from quarterback has been 5 yards for the Builders. So excellent effort from the Knights defense.
And some miscommunication by the Builders. The ball's on the ground. Everybody scrambling for the football. And it's going to be Knight ball. So once again, Mark, we find the defense for the Knights coming up big. With the Builders, they've driven down the field. And now once again, turnover.
Yeah, and that wasn't necessarily caused by the Knights defense that time, a miscue on the Builders side, but being able to get to those 50-50 balls that just randomly pop out on the ground is a huge part of winning football games.
So the Knights take over from their own 18-yard line. Watson gives to Solers, and he'll gain 2 yards. Another give to Solers. And the Builders are saying there was a fumble. No signal yet from the officials on the field. And Solers once again is slow getting up. Referees spot the ball at the 22-yard line. So it'll be 3rd and 6 for the Knights. Second time tonight, Mark, that Solers has gone down. First time he was able to leave the field under his own power.
Yeah, he's been the workhorse for the Knights, taking the brunt of the blows. Takes a toll.
Solers with 11 carries on the night. He's up and once again coming to the sideline without any assistance. So the Knights will line it up, 3rd and 6. And a quick flag there from the referees. That will go against the Knights.
Odd discussion here. Seemed like it was a false start.
I was wrong.
We were both wrong.
We have defensive delay of game on the Builders. So So that's going to give the Knights 5 yards and put them in a 3rd and 1.
Well, I came into this game thinking I was pretty knowledgeable about football, but I frankly didn't know that that could happen.
Typically, when you see the flags fly before a play gets underway, you expect it to go against the offense. The Knights will look to capitalize on the 5 yards that they have been given here as they face this 3rd and 1. Swing pass to Washington, and he is met there by Sincere Hawkins and dropped for a loss. And so the punting team will come on for the Knights. A loss of 5 on the play.
Yeah, trying something different there. Definitely did not work out. But you like to see Coach DeBay has been very aggressive with the lead. Coming into this 4th down, he has a 3-score lead, 12 and a half minutes left to go. He's going to play it safe.
Passy back to kick, and the play is whistled dead by the officials, and flags go down.
Okay, I'm 99% sure that was actually a false start this time.
If you want to go on record, I'm going to just wait and see what the officials say. So it does go against the Knights.
Makes me 1-on-2 on flag predictions in the last 40 seconds.
Passy gets the kick away, and it is fielded at about the 48-yard line of the Knights by Petty, and there's another flag on the play.
Fascinating. You can see as this game continues to go on, the first game energy from the first half, the first game trying to get every little thing right, is starting to wane as the energy wanes in the players. So a lot more flags coming here in this second half.
Starting the kick, holding, number 2, kicking team. Half the distance to the goal, 4th down.
So that's a holding call that will go against the Knights. So that will push them back. The Builders, as you would expect, are going to make the Knights punt once again. So this time, Passy will be punting from his own end zone. Gets off a good kick. And Petty again fields the punt. So even though they gained about 10 yards on the penalty, they only gained 5 yards overall, as Passy was able to get a pretty good punt away out of his own end zone. So the Builders will take over now with 12 minutes remaining in the game at the 43-yard line of SVU.
Yeah, you like the punt, but if you're the Builders, this is your last chance. This is the possession where you can get the momentum to get back into this game. Time winding down.
Definitely a big possession as Jones goes deep and through the hands of Scott DePay, who had made a break looking for the interception. Actually, that was Lucas Martin. We got our number 7 on offense, which is Scott DePay, and number 7 on defense, which is Lucas Martin. So a good play there by Lucas. Puts the Builders 2nd and 10. Jones once again. Got a man open. And once again, that is Jeremiah Gainey. And a flag on the play. Unfortunately, Mark, I have a suspicion of what that is.
I think I know what it is too. It's going to be, I think, a face mask. Yeah.
Now, we're a long ways from the play, but it just kind of had that look.
Yeah, it's one of those plays when you see the rip around. Yep.
So between the completion and the penalty, that is going to move the Builders down to the Knight 16-yard line, 15-yard line. 1st and 10. Jones looking left. And the ball's tipped at the line of scrimmage, goes incomplete. A flag comes in on the play. I'm a little gun shy here now after that defensive delay of game. I suspected there was a possible pass interference, which the referee's doing his job. His job's not to watch the line of scrimmage. His job is to watch, in the backfield, in the, downfield. Saw contact. Referee's doing a good job there of communicating. 2nd and 10. That is a give up the middle. Is a new ball carrier for the Apprentice School. Ball carrier was number 31, Malachi Mitchell. And as the Builders come up to the line of scrimmage, SVU is going to call a timeout.
I'm not sure if this timeout was the defense had too many men on the field, wasn't set, didn't have the right personnel, or if Coach DePay is just trying to ice the offense of Apprentice. But an interesting timeout, and definitely the pace of this game has slowed to a crawl, which in terms of time benefits the Builders, but in terms of effective pace of play might benefit the Knights.
Yeah, this drive started, a minute and 3 seconds ago. But in that time we've had several plays, so not a loss, a lot of clock loss. The Knights, as you mentioned, would love to have seen the clock well under 10 minutes as a result of their defense here. Nevertheless, 3rd and 10 for the Builders from the 15-yard line of the Knights. Once again, one of those big 3rd downs. Each team wants to win. And a miscommunication there in the backfield by the Builders, where Malachi Mitchell ran into the back of the quarterback, Travaris Jones, which sent Jones to the ground. So that's going to be a loss of 4 yards. And the Builders now will be faced with a 4th and 14.
And yeah, this is one that you have to go for if you're head coach Brown, because there's no more time left. This is the touchdown to break.
A field goal doesn't really do you a whole lot of good. So 4th and 14. Jones looking left. And the Knights once again with a great defensive play. That pass was batted down. I believe that was by number 97. That is Tate Haverneck, another freshman. So the Knights are able to get the ball back on downs by a great defensive stand inside the red zone.
Yeah, the Knights have done brilliantly in this second half at defending in the end zone, forcing turnovers, playing effectively. Obviously, the penalties have gotten the Builders into the end zone, into the red zone, sorry, but the Knights have stood tall. And now it's up to the Knights offense. We can see if they are able to run a slow, methodical, time-draining drive here, because this could be the drive to seal it.
Well, Coach DePay said he wanted 100 yards rushing on the evening. And we're starting to get to the time of the evening where they're going to be looking to pile up some rushing yards. However, they throw a pass on first down that is completed to Crusage. A gain of 6 on the play. And there is a Knight slow to get up. Trainers are out assisting the injured Knight. And that is the center, sophomore Christian Janice. Who also is able to walk off the field under his own power. Referees calling the teams back to the line of scrimmage.
And Christian Janis will come out of the game. That's a pretty big loss. He's done very well. The center is the structure of the offensive line. A lot of the success of the line is important on him.
And there's a handoff. Crusage once again getting a carry. He's able to pick up a yard. Third and 4 for the Knights. Watson with a quick pass for a first down to Isaiah Maxey.
And a great play there, allows the drive to continue. You're watching as a Knights fan, you're just like, Maxey, stay in bounds, just go down. Don't go out of bounds, but good play there to keep the drive going and keep the clock ticking in favor of the Knights.
3 new downs, 4 new downs is never a bad thing when you're getting to around 9 minutes left in the game with a 21-point lead.
Absolutely.
Watson, both Maxey and Watson continue good Knights as the handoff goes and breaks through the line. That's number 35, Roger Adam. And he takes the ball out over midfield, finally brought down at the Builder 41-yard line.
Yeah, and you've started to see that these role players, these young running backs coming in for the Knights, getting some big plays and big gains on their first rushes. Really working hard.
And it looks like that's coming back. I didn't see a penalty marker on the field, but referees talk it over. Looks like likely a holding call. The hold was called well down the field, so it brought it back, so it put the Knights actually in a 1st down and 1. That's not something you see every day.
I was like, what is happening? The general confusion among the fans, you could hear it here. It was just like, what in the world was going on there?
So 2nd and 1. As I was saying a couple plays earlier, good night for Devin Watson. 26 of 37 now, 1 interception, 2 touchdowns, and 182 yards passing. As that handoff goes back to Roger Adam, and this time he picks up the 1st down. Checking for any flags on the field. I don't see any, so that 1st down will stand. And that brings the clock to under 8 minutes, with the Knights having a new set of downs.
Yeah, those 2 runs looking a lot like pre-injury Javonte Williams there, just absolutely refusing to get taken down. Defensive hands all over him, but just continuing to truck forward.
Motion along the line once again.
If it's a defensive delay of game, I quit. Yeah, I'm done with it.
So Christian Jennings has made his way back onto the field and gets called for the snap infraction. First and 15 for the Knights from their 43-yard line. More flags.
And this has been a great game played by the Knights this night, but definitely going to go into practice on Monday looking like, okay, we have some things to work on, especially our second half offensive line penalties.
So Knights now in a 1st and 20. They were on the Builders side of the field before these 2 penalties. And the play clock running down causes the Knights to call a timeout to avoid a 3rd 5-yard penalty here in this sequence.
Yeah, and you can tell head coach Dupay is not happy about how this sequence is playing out. Definitely the Knights have made a habit of trying to get up to the line as quickly as possible and snap it as quickly into the play clock as possible. Not keeping there with that attitude on that one.
So 6 minutes, 56 seconds left here in the game. I mentioned the 100 rushing yards that Coach DePay hoped they would reach. Right now they sit at 83 yards. The closer they get to that 100-yard mark or go over, the more time that will tick off that clock.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, talking about the run game, yeah, they want to hit that 100, but even with those 80-some-odd yards, the Knights last year averaged 63 yards per game on the ground. So already an improvement there as well.
Roger Adam with the carry. It's a 2-yard gain. Watson working the clock right now. Play clock down to 5 seconds. Swing pass to Sage. And the Builders flock to him and bring him down. Looks like that's going to be a loss of 1. And that will bring the Knights to a 3rd and 19. I'd expect to see the Knights play it a little safe here. An incomplete pass stops the clock, obviously. Want to see that clock continue to move here as we're now under 5.5 minutes left. Hand off to Sage. And he will pick up 4 yards.
Drop down at the 42-yard line. 4th down for the Knights.
4th and 15. I think we'll see this clock run down. Knights will use their final timeout at that point, I believe.
Makes sense. Squeeze as much time out of this as possible. You'll probably get, looks like 3:37-ish out of that clock, or 4:37-ish. With a 21-point lead, that's about as good as you could ask for.
Coach DePay does, in fact, use the final timeout with 4 minutes, 37 seconds left on the clock. The Knights in a 4th and 15, where they will look to their punter, Alex Passy, to punt the ball back to the Builders and then let the defense take over. The defense that has been pretty stingy all night long, Mark.
Yeah, absolutely. I think the biggest yard gainers of the day were with TK Petty's big reception downfield and just all the penalties. So the defense been stingy in all the little things on the field. Just need to do it for 4.5 minutes more.
You know, the Knight defense has held the Builders to a total of 197 yards thus far tonight.
Which, just to contrast to the improvement from last year, Knights were allowing 488 yards per game last year, so a massive improvement
And
on that end.
that's only 68 yards in this second half. Passy gets the punt away, and TK Petty fields it off the bounce and brings it up to the 33-yard line of Apprentice School, and that is where they will begin this drive with 4 minutes, 28 seconds left in the game, and the Builders trailing by 21. So we'd expect to see the Builders looking to pass and move the ball downfield quickly.
Yeah, I mean, the Builders this year, they've joined the New South Athletic Conference run by the USCAA. And so this is one of their first years really being a part of conference play. And so improvement as the season goes on is extra critical for the Builders this year to try and make a push in their new conference.
Yes, Coach Brown was excited about the opportunity to play for a conference championship, to have the opportunity to receive, for his players to receive all conference awards and whatnot. And there is Kendall Hunt running for a 12-yard gain. That'll be a first down up to the Builder 45-yard line. 44-yard line is where he began his slide. And I'd say, Mark, there's some anxious and excited fans here in the stands, Knight fans, as they watch this clock tick down closer to 0.
Yeah, it's there's some excitement for this team this year, and this game just proved why. These fans are excited and ready for this team to really just break through, to start gaining an identity as they become more experienced. Like you said, you said 21 sophomores on this team. As those sophomores become juniors, you're looking for this year, for next year, for some serious, awesome football here at Knight Stadium. We haven't had a win here at least since 2023. So an excellent first start to the season for the Knights.
A lot of excitement comes when you begin the season with a victory, especially over a team that beat you handily the year before. That was Hunt on another carry. He pitches to Townsend, and Townsend goes for a first down. A little more extracurricular after the play is over. Referees doing a good job of managing the situation.
Now, the refs not wanting to throw 1 or 2 flags on that play. Maybe not the best time to not throw a flag, but they want to go home too. There's 2:37 in this fourth quarter, has taken a very long time.
1st and 10 for the Builders. Hunt remains as quarterback. And play is whistled dead. No flag at the moment. We'll see if there was delay a game or if the Builders are going to call their second timeout of the half. Or the third option will be the referee asking for the play clock to be reset. Hunt carries up the middle for 7 yards. That'll bring up second down, 3 yards to go. Ball on the Knights' 34-yard line as we now reach the 2-minute warning.
I think what head coach Brown here is trying to do is that one of the big strengths of the Knights defense this game was stopping the quarterback runs, the designed quarterback runs. And so with this time that he has with the clock winding down, a big deficit in his hands, he's wanting to improve those, wanting to figure out how the Builders can make those work in future games. It's an excellent use of time to try and improve his team and their execution.
Like you say, Mark, this is a good time of the game. Down 3 scores, try to establish something, try and see what you might want to establish moving forward. They start their conference play in a couple weeks. So certainly Coach Brown wants to see if he can find a spark somewhere. Let's talk real quick about the defense. Once again, they've played a great game tonight for SVU. They've held Travaris Jones to 11 completions on 24 attempts. Only 143 yards, with 75 of them coming to TK Petty, which I think Knight fans have to be happy with that. TK Petty, he got his yards, 75 yards. That's a good night, but they were able to keep him out of the end zone and never really let anything get started as far as that goes.
Yeah, I mean, and even those yards that he got came on much less efficient yardage than he's used to. Well, on 5 receptions instead of the usual about 3 or so.
He certainly worked hard for those yards as Hunt is scrambling, looking for a receiver downfield, and ends up scrambling out of bounds at the line of scrimmage. So that's going to bring up 3rd and 3. And that's got to feel good there down on the field as we see senior Jamar Robinson asking the SVU crowd to make some noise here as the clock continues to wind down. Hunt avoids one tackler and then drags 3 for a gain of 6. That will make the first down for the Builders.
And he's taking advantage of his opportunity, showing what he can do with his legs. Definitely pushing forward, breaking tackles. It's a skill to have, and shows your head coach, hey, I can make something happen even just with my legs if you put me in.
Hunt swings it to Townsend, and he is brought down there for another tackle for loss by freshman Britton Tidwell as his great start to his college career continues.
Man, he has been everywhere. It'll be interesting to see what his final stat line is once that gets all updated. But he really showing why he's one of those freshmen that will fill in the holes like we talked about in that defense and make that defense truly elite.
Hunt back to pass, and he's brought down by number 45. And that is Tanner Evans, another freshman out of Eagle Mountain, Utah, by way of Cedar Valley High School.
Looks like the Builders will try and get one more play off before the play clock ends.
And the referees are going to say they did not get that play off. And as such, that'll bring an end to this game. What an opening night for the SVU football team. Giving Coach DePay the thing he wanted most here on his birthday, and that's a victory. They'll take the game 27-6 over the Builders of the Apprentice School.
Yeah, and it was an all-around complete game. Offense, defense, special teams is exactly what you want to see. You love to see it when you win because your defense is elite or some big plays happen. But really, the Knights controlled each facet of the game and ended up with the victory.
That's really what happened out here to Mark, and it's great to see that Coach DePay can go into the locker room now tonight and talk about how his team controlled the game offensively and defensively. We talked, last possession about Devin Watson's stats and the offense, but you brought up, Britton Tidwell and the defense. Cade Hansen, when it's all said and done, Cade Hansen had 7 total tackles on the evening. We called his name quite a bit. You go down, you got 3 members of the defense that each had 6 total tackles: Alex Passy, Spike Adams, and freshman Britton Tidwell. But you look down there, Britton Tidwell with 3 tackles for loss. And you look over 21 total yards that those 3 tackle for losses took off the board for the Builders. And then the one stat that we're not seeing right there on that page is the pick 6 that he also had in the first half.
Yep, it was an amazing game for Tidwell there, showing why he wants to be here, why he wants to be on the field, why he loves the game of football. Just an amazing performance, and one that gives you hope as a Knights fan of a true juggernaut defensive player of that's where his first game was. His career isn't there yet, but his first game was. An excellent game from Tidwell.
Absolutely, and a great game overnight. So many players, when you look here, the stats, mentioned Passy, Adams, Tidwell, Jamar Robinson. What a fun sight. We all know, how hard he has worked here at SVU. And to kick off his senior season, to have a victory at home under the lights, what a great moment for him. And he's down there right in front, leading the celebration for his team. We'll head over to the offensive side. I just noticed those stats. We still got some time left on those stats. Maybe they're complete, but Devin Watson, 26 of 37, 182 yards, 2 touchdowns. Receiving, Jarik Washington, 6 receptions, 47 yards. You know, we talked about the effort of Solers. 5 catches, 23 yards, also 11 carries. Henry Audette, 3 catches, 19 yards. Isaiah Maxey, Jax Vancheri, and Sintez Gibson. So actually, Sintez Gibson, we gave that touchdown to MJ Laws, but Sintez Gibson actually wearing that number 5 jersey tonight. He gets that touchdown, 1 reception, 27 yards. So overall, a great evening here at Knight Stadium.
Yeah, just a night that that gives you a lot of excitement for the future. I had this full Knight Stadium ready to go, fans roaring, and it worked, and the season starts off in a bang. I love the thing that we talked about, like on the offensive stats. The thing that to me was most important was Devin Watson's 70% completion percentage. He started making those right decisions, and that's a big part of what kept the offense humming.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll say, hey, I had 1 interception tonight, but he bounced back great from that. Maybe a poor decision, maybe a great defensive play. It doesn't matter. Devin Watson, what he showed tonight was he's capable of leading this team on the offensive side of the ball. A lot of good decisions were made and a lot of good plays made. So once again, we want to wish Coach DePay a happy birthday. Congratulations on the victory. Great job by all of the football team tonight. They'll sleep well tonight knowing they did a job very well done. We want to thank everybody for joining us here on Knight Broadcasting. We'd like to invite you to like, comment, or subscribe. And don't forget to join us here on Tuesday night at 6 p.m. as the women's volleyball team will take on Eastern Mennonite University. I'm Colby Kemp. Want to thank Mark Duffin for joining us. We want to wish everybody a good evening, and as always, go Knights.